What 3 goals do you hope to accomplish during your tenure in office, and why? I guess we can mix it up a little bit, and we can start with Larry.
Yes, my 3 goals are really pretty simple. Closing the achievement gap, as I said, I think that is in Howard County, where we have such a great diversity of academic and educational excellence. We have the wealth to do it. I think we have the will to do it, and I think we can close the achievement gap so all of our children have an opportunity to learn. So that's one. The second one would be to continue to increase parent involvement. Many of us know that our PTAs are strong and do great things, but we could also use more parents involved. And so I want to share ideas on how we continue to get more parent involvement and recognizing where we are economically for the next several years, doing that in a fiscally responsible way.
Cindy.
The 3 things that I think are most important are, as Larry talks about, closing the achievement gap, but I think that I may be looking at it in a different way than the average person who says that they're hoping to close the achievement gap. I would like us to return to a focus on the basics of education that start out with a full and rich curriculum and expert, experienced teachers who provide the services to individual children as individuals. If we take care of each individual child's learning needs, we will end up with all kids achieving to their highest possible level. I'd like the school system to move away from the current teaching to the testing culture that is the result of federal and state laws that are intended to close the achievement gap, but have had the unfortunate unintended consequences of diminishing the entire education system. I would also like to see us do some of the very, very exciting things that we could be doing with technology. People are always asking us, how will you do more with less? Technology would be the way.
Thank you. I would also focus on closing the achievement gap. If you look at the data, especially the dropout rates, there are certain subgroups or certain groups of students who are performing better than others. I would like to make sure that all students and all subgroups have the same opportunities, and we need to provide supplemental resources and supports for those students who are not making those academic gains that they should be. One of the ways that I propose that we close the achievement gap is making sure that our students are engaged during instruction and that we have rigorous, authentic learning experiences in the classroom that are going to help our students graduate with critical thinking skills and be productive in the real world. I also would like to focus on recruiting and retaining the best educators possible. We need to identify new approaches for professional growth and training and certifications, which will help more teachers be successful and satisfied in their profession. I would also like to focus on increasing the opportunities for technology, making sure that our classrooms are equipped for 21st century learning.
My 3 goals. First would be, over the next few years, we're looking at flat to decreasing budgets. Last year was the very first year that the Howard County Public School System had less money than the previous year when you combine county and state funding. My first goal would be that we would do more with less, that we would continue to raise academic achievement while in all likelihood spending flat to possibly even less. I think that fiscal responsibility is important. That obligation to our children is critical. I've released a plan, 6 innovations in 4 years, that is a realistic plan that deals with some of those issues. You can find that on my website. My second goal would be to make the best Maryland schools, which are here in Howard County, the best in the world. It's not good enough for us just to measure ourselves against those schools in Maryland or those schools in the United States when we know those schools in the United States rank in the bottom 66% of all industrialized countries. Third, I believe we need to use our village more. One of the reasons why we have a great public school system is we have an amazing public. We need to engage that public more, giving input and not just feedback, but giving input in the deliberations, decision-making, and delivery of services.
The very top thing on my priority list has been getting enough school sites for schools in the Northeast, which we're experiencing an overcrowding problem. But beyond that, I think that we need to plan better in general for use better projections and plan better for the long term to see where we're going to have those problems and try to try to escape them before they become crises. I also think that I am thinking in terms of special education. I'm also thinking in terms of gifted education. My third grader is very fortunate to be participating in gifted programs at her school. And what I'd like to provide for the entire range of students is more educational options. Realizing that we have a one-size-fits-all model right now, and I think we need to provide more options for our full range of students.
Thank you. Ms. Frank?
I have a lot of goals that I've listed on my handout, which you can find out there. They're personal goals. We have goals established for us through the Race to the Top grant, and we cannot ignore them, because even if we had not signed on to the grant, they became state law, and the Maryland State Department of Education and the State Board of Education was going to impose them on all school systems anyway. So I think that we really need to look at making sure that we have a fair evaluation tool which for administrators and teachers based upon student growth. I believe that we have to really work on improving our secondary grading system so that we can track student academic growth more minutely. And I think that we need to make sure that the class of 2015 is successful, because they're the ones that are going to have a four-year plan of study with 4 math credits. We have a lot of work to do.
First thing I would say is I would guarantee you I would try my hardest and with all the passion I have to make sure that every child gets the quality education that can be offered to them in the Howard County school system. The second thing, I want to represent you. I brought up my plan at the forum that stated that if I'm elected, I want to hold 3 forums, one in Ellicott City, one in Elk Ridge, and one in Western Howard County. And I want to hear what teachers and parents feel are the concerns. And I want to make those understandings and be able to say to you, I promise you I will follow up in the next year and make sure those things are addressed and that your concerns are answered. That'll be my promise and my contract to the parents and the teachers. My third thing is I am the candidate who has talked about fiscal responsibility from the very beginning. I want to bring in entrepreneurs, small businessmen, and let them help us review the budget and let them tell us how we could do and what we could do without in the budget, and bring up those recommendations at the next board meeting when we talk about the budget. That's what I would do if I'm elected, and I hope you see the same things that I believe in.
Thank you. I list 8 sort of guiding, I'll call them guiding principles, but they're also on my materials on my website as far as continued improvement and what we need to continue to. I'm not going to suggest that we don't do many of these things already. But if it doesn't fit into one of these buckets, I'll just pick 3 of them. And the first one, of course, it's what we're here for. It's to ensure that every student is able to maximize their educational opportunities and perform at their highest level of achievement. Implicit in that, of course, is closing the achievement gap. Effectively leveraging technology. If we're not doing that these days, we're not going to continue to advance. And to invest in our physical plant so that the lack of facilities doesn't impede the academic, the educational process. We're proud of our schools. We need to continue to invest in them. It's one of my top 3 things.